All right, this video is for all of you who've been following along on the attic's antique journey and have been thinking how lucky I am to have such an amazing attic full of treasures, how jealous you are. Well, this one is for you, so suit up because we're getting dusty. So this morning takes us yet again up in my attic, that lovely place of curiosities and mysteries. We have spent a lot of time in the past several weeks slowly emptying it out and sorting through all of the wondrous antiques that are up there. Well, actually not all of the antiques. There are still many, many more that remain unsorted. That is going to be future videos. So if you're not subscribed already, sign up to sort through those later. But the whole reason we were clearing the antiques out of the attic was not just morbid curiosity, but also because we want to go in and insulate in there. We know that there's already some insulation. There's a little bit of blown in the floorboards, but we want to add more, both to keep ourselves comfortable and warm and keep the heat in the house and not in the attic, and also to try and keep our energy bill low this winter. So let's go take a look at the attic, see what we're dealing with. It is noticeably colder up here than it is downstairs, and in fact I left that attic door open and I can feel the draft of air like rushing past me. So there is some insulation in here. It is doing its job for the most part, but we're going to add some more, increase the R value of what's already there. Ooh, that light, there we go. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. Phil is here, he is joining me in a second once he gets off the phone with his dad, and we're gonna head to work tackling this. It is going to be a very dusty process, so we're gonna try and keep you up to date as we go, but it's gonna be a lot of dust. This section's pretty empty. Got some fun artwork over there, a lot of Christmas displays over here. This section is now actually pretty full because it became my dumping ground to empty out this section over here, which is also not entirely empty, but significantly better than it was before. So Phil, what do you think? Ideas where you would like to start insulating?
Probably here.
So should we scoot any of those antiques out of the way, or do we really want to start like here?
I mean, anything from the chimney could go away. Make a clear line, and then we can start removing planks.
Okay. Also,
marking and removing planks.
Look at the wicked condensation we've got going on over here.
It's weird, huh? Because it's a single pane. But you know why? Because this hole is open to the humid air from the basement. This is next to the chimney, so hot humid air comes here, condensate on the window.
So we're gonna need to cap that off.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, I'd love to know who that handsome chap is. That strapping young lad. I just recently taught Phil that use of the word strapping. Look at all that stuff we still have to sort through. Still lots of stuff to sort through up here. All that. Not right now! Phil, contain thy curiosity. No, seriously. Want to do the crossword for Wednesday, October 20th, 1976? We have to remove several floorboards, well, several more floorboards in order to get the insulation, so I made sure to carefully label them in hopes of getting them all back in the right place at the end of everything. But actually, hold on, there's a pretty funny story behind this chalk, so let's quickly go back in time 24 hours and see what it is. So we're just getting ready to take Canal for some exercise, but Phil, who just got back from the dump, told me that we actually need to empty the car out first, because apparently today was a very good dumpster haul day. So let's go do a little thrift haul from the dump. Let's go see what Phil got. All right.
So 2 bales of blown-in insulation, like we're about to install it in the attic.
Pretty lucky timing, honestly.
Yeah. Also, a wooden stool.
It's in really good shape.
Yeah. All right.
Why would you not donate that?
A little bit of chalk, maybe for marking boards in the attic before removing them to put the blown-in insulation. Or some plastic, different colors. Maybe one is going to show better than the other. I don't know.
Yeah. And what next?
A little bin of some stuff. I don't know if any of it is useful. That seems to be like a weird pocket door lock insert thingy, or a dresser. I don't know. Yeah.
A belt buckle?
A belt buckle.
Why?
Half an inch. This I just grabbed in case there was something good, but I don't think there's actually anything useful in there. I wanted first the basket because it's kind of nice. Reusable zip ties.
Reusable zip ties?
Yeah, they're just like you can tie stuff around it. Some kind of alloy that you can.
And Phil, what's the colloquial name for this in Swedish?
Cat stranglers. Yeah, these are ceramic rod ends. They're really heavy.
Wow. Are you sure they're not like feet? Furniture feet?
Could be, because there's a bunch of feet here. Bunch of furniture feet, footsies.
Okay, nice. Oh wow. All right.
I wanted the basket more than anything else, but
yeah.
A little brass hardware and a little X-Acto blade.
I just got a bunch of blades for those, and that was on wish list.
And a little craft paper X-Acto blade.
That's fun. I've never seen one like that. Alright, well, a very excellent haul. It was a very fruitful day at the dump.
Yeah.
So let's throw the dog in the car, go for a little walk.
Alright.
Can I use Triplan and Mash?
Quite solid.
Did a really good job.
Yeah.
Alright, switching gears a little bit back inside, taking a moment to warm up in preparation for this free online windows workshop seminar that I found. Don't remember how exactly I came across it. I think it was being promoted on Instagram potentially. I don't remember, but it was free. It promotes wood window restoration repair over replacing your windows, which obviously if you've been on the channel for any amount of time, you'll know that I am a huge proponent of that. I do not believe in maintenance free anything. That's just jargon for disposable. If you cannot maintain it, what do you do when it breaks? You throw it out. So I am all about let's maintain what we have, especially a house of this era. These wooden windows were literally meant to be maintained over time. It was an ongoing process. You know, you have to reglaze your windows, all of this stuff. So I am super interested in this. Like I said, it is free. It is being hosted and curated by people who I don't recognize, but they do seem to be, you know, experts in their field. And one of them is based in Minnesota, which is fun because I am often in Minnesota because I have family there. So, you know, maybe eventually could meet up with him in person, do a little segment on the channel. I don't know, but either way, looking forward to this window workshop. So let's go get set up for it and see what they have to say.
The cool thing about these old windows is that they were made to be repaired. I feel like, oh my gosh, like I've been getting these ads in the mail about replacement for years. Maybe it's time to do that. And in reality, so much of what goes into an old window and what goes wrong with an old window is ripe for repair rather than just tossing it out. This is historical, and once it's gone forever. So let's see what we can do to take care of it. You can go online and find all sorts of studies that show that there is a really nominal at best difference in terms of energy efficiency.
The amount of effort and attention they put into selecting good lumber is not new. It's something that's been done for centuries. The windows don't take a lot of lumber, so you can afford to be very, very picky about which lumber you choose.
It was severely deteriorated putty, cracked and failing paint, jams where condensation builds up and causes a lot of paint failure.
So that was really, really fun. Super enjoyed that. I will admit that I didn't learn a whole ton of new stuff. Like most of the stuff they covered was pretty basic, pretty introductory level, but you know, it's always fun to connect with old house enthusiasts, with wood windows, saving communities, all of that stuff. And it was really nice that they took an angle on it that was, they talked a lot about the ecological ramifications of replacing your wood windows. I mean, they touched on a lot of things. I didn't want to go too much into it in this video just for risk of boring everyone out there, but they covered a lot of things. But I will say that they spoke more on the ecological ramifications of changing out your windows and replacing them with vinyl and the impact that has on landfills and stuff to an extent that I haven't heard before. A lot of the people talking about it focus on it more from a keep the character of an old house, old windows are just as efficient as new windows, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was kind of nice to hear about the like recycling aspect of it. Now, to be fair, the workshop was hosted by a build reuse community, which I can link down in the description if anybody wants to check it out. But yeah, anyway, really good times, really fun, and now I should probably get back to work. So let's get back up in the attic and get dirty. Then my eye was caught by a bright color and I discovered some floor treasures, one of which looked incredibly familiar. Well, it was a really cute Christmas decoration. She didn't go smash. That then kicked off a quick investigation of all of the floor bays to find not only hidden treasures, but also things like broken glass and potential animal remains.
Here was a bird. Tiny baby feathers. Santa glasses.
Oh, that's funny.
Then we started in on the actual installation process, which got real dusty real fast, and we were both quite absorbed in getting actual work done rather than filming, so here are some quick time lapses. Well, as predicted, that did get really, really dusty, but we made some pretty good progress. So let's flip you around, show you what we did, and then put the mask back on and keep right on working. So this whole section here is completely filled. You can see all the blown in is nice and packed in up here. And I think we kind of stopped right about here because we're going to tackle the whole chimney section a little bit separately. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have to take all of these antiques and move them out of the way, because this is gonna be the next section we tackle. The good news is that that's gonna maybe free up these floorboards. We can start trying to fit them in, because these guys have always been missing. We don't know where they are. They're probably somewhere in the attic, and there's a good chance that some of them are there. And then we're also going to unearth some of those Christmas decorations that are hiding under there, and that I know a lot of you were very excited to see. Part of the reason that this is so dusty is that we're not just adding new blown-in, but we're actually going in and fluffing up all the blown-in that's currently there. In this section especially, it's really, really compact and almost crusty, because this part of the roof is the part that saw a lot of water damage during Hurricane Fiona a couple of years ago, and you can tell that a lot of water and some roof shingles got into the attic, and that the blown-in is just super compact. And when it's compact, that actually significantly reduces its R value, its ability to provide insulation. So going in, breaking that up, making it fluffy again is actually going to do a lot of good in terms of making it more useful. And then once it's fluffed up, then we're topping it up so that, you know, it's as full as possible, but not completely compact, if that makes sense. Also, if anyone has any ideas what that is, we are puzzled. We have no idea. My theory is maybe it's some sort of flag stand. This little guy pivots. But why there's a flag stand inside, under the roof, I'm not sure. So let us know what that is if you know. So then we started the process of trying to locate and replace the missing floorboards. This is a bit of a jigsaw puzzle, because there are torn up floorboards strewn all over the attic, as you might have seen in previous videos, and we might have to wait until the whole attic is basically empty before we can find all of them, but in the meantime we are trying to replace as many as possible. Part of this process involves gluing many of the boards back together, because whoever took them out in the first place was not always very cautious or careful about it. Pile here, and I'm just going to start running boxes of Christmas stuff downstairs. And now I try not to fall down 3 flights of stairs. So now it's all cleared out, and look at how much of this was Christmas decorations. Like, this is all that's left over after that Christmas stuff went downstairs. Another quick inspection for floorboard treasures, but sadly this side was much emptier than the first. Then it was time to tackle the chimney. I know we haven't really gotten into the way the house used to look originally, but we can kind of see, looking at the chimney, evidence, one of many, that our house used to be a 2-story house, and this used to be an exterior chimney. If I stop it right here, that looks like an outside chimney that clearly somebody at some point extended all the way up and through the ceiling when they turned it into a 3-story house. Now, this is coming down eventually. The original mortar is absolutely just powder at this point. You can see somebody came in and did try to do some repointing, some touch-ups in a very questionable manner, but this will all be coming down at some point, just not right now. But it is kind of fun to see the literal clues that this was originally a 2-story house and that this whole attic was a later addition. And yes, it is possible, like sometimes people did parge their chimneys like this even when they were in the inside to keep it, you know, protected so that that mortar situation didn't happen. But this is so clearly like a one job down here and then a later job up there. Also, you can see it's doing a bit of a witch's chimney thing where it has to hitch over a little bit so that where it poked up here was not perfectly in the center of the new ridge line. So the chimney itself is angled a little bit. You can see it here, you can see it at this angle here. And also, like this down here was very clearly originally an exterior situation as well. Like it's got all the old flashing still intact, like tarred and flashed. And yeah, this was definitely exterior chimney at some point and then made interior somewhat later. So that's the history of my chimney, but why are we bothering with it right now? Well, in order to get all the floorboards up, we have to remove a lot of the old flashing that was acting as weatherproofing back when this part of the chimney was outside and not inside.
Oh, wow.
In order to make sure that the giant gaping hole in the middle of the roof stayed dry and didn't leak, back in the day, there were many, many layers surrounding the brick, including old tar paper, thin metal sheeting, some form of mortar or cement, and a ton of little nails. With everything labeled and hopefully able to be put back in its original place, we could start removing the floorboards. For the most part, we were able to keep the boards intact, but there were a few, mainly the ones that were pinned under the exterior wall of the house, that had to be carefully cut at the floor joists. Seriously, this oscillating tool is probably one of my favorites in my toolkit. It doesn't see as much use as the drill or the hammer, but when you need it, it is absolutely invaluable. So we just found this old KFC wrapper, and Phil thinks we should use it to clean our faces at the end of the day. Alright, we finally got all the boards labeled, pulled up, the chimney is deflashed, we can access all the boards that were under that flashing, so I think we're ready to start the very dusty, dirty, disgusting process of fluffing and installing all the blown in. So, roll the montage. as you can see, this was an incredibly dusty process, so I didn't stop to talk to the camera very much in the middle of it. So instead you get voiceover Shannon here, stepping in and walking you through it all. So basically we're going in and fluffing up the old insulation that's already in the floorboards. Most of these cavities had an okay amount already in them, but like I said, it was really compacted down and some of the cavities didn't have any insulation at all in them. Then we would take the new insulation, which came very compacted down into these tight bundles, and we would use that attachment you saw for the drill, which is actually a concrete mixing attachment, but let me tell you, it does not work nearly as well for mixing concrete as it does for breaking up blown-in. Then the new insulation would get dumped in the cavities that needed some topping up, and I would just work to redistribute and even everything out, make sure all the bays were nice and full. Well, I don't know about you, but I am tired and I am filthy, but I am feeling very accomplished. And you should be too, because we made excellent progress. We are by no means finished. We still have a whole heck of a lot more to do up here in the attic, but we made excellent progress. We are so much farther than we were at the beginning of this video. So go ahead, give yourselves a high five. And with that, I am gonna sign off and go take my dog for a walk. It's the moment of truth.
Is it still wet?
I'm gonna go with no. Dry as a bone.
But
It's like sandpaper.
what if we slightly moistened it? Wet?
Moist towelette.
Doesn't smell like anything. All the little alcohol is gone. Yeah. Thanks, KFC.
PFK.
PFK.
All right, goodbye for real. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.